Hi, and welcome to my podcast. I've never done one of these before in my life, and it's so unbelievably far out of my comfort zone that I'm very, very, very stumped on what to even talk about or how to even start doing this. So I thought the best way to do it would be to just go for it. Unfortunately, I did try and ask many people to join in with me on this and make it more authentic and fun to listen to, but everybody said no, so it's just going to be me. So I study media at the University of Worcester, and I thought it would be quite cool to talk about children using certain types of media. So in my case, I've got a younger brother, he's 8 years old, and he's a very, very, very big fan of gaming. And there's always been this kind of stigma around the age range of games that you should let your child play. So my little brother, he's very good at things like this. So he will stick to games that are like 7+, 3+, sometimes the occasional 12 if we think it's good for him and we think he'll be okay with it. But I find it quite shocking how in schools, especially primary schools, these groups of children kind of peer pressure each other into getting like 18s or 15 games that they're not allowed to get, and it genuinely makes parents feel quite rubbish about themselves when they have to turn around and go no, and then they're saying, oh, but so and so plays this and it's an 18 and their mom lets them. And I really think it's quite unfair, because having worked in game myself and being somebody that likes to play games myself, there is a very, very, very big difference in these different age groups of games. So the different certificates on the games. For example, you're going to get a lot more violence and inappropriate material, like sexual material, in the 18 and the 15 games than you are going to get in the 12s. So to kind of fit around this genre of these children wanting to play games that are too old for them, there was a game not long ago, a platform, that sort of let people create their own games and let children under the age of 13 and over, so there is no age limit, there's no age certificate on this game itself. It let anybody play what was created by just anyone could create things, and they'd earn money from these games if people were to play them. And this game is called Roblox. My little brother is extremely interested in this game, all the time, constantly plays it. Like every day, he'll be on there for upwards of an hour every single day, and it's impossible to keep track of it. So one day we'll look at the screen and he's playing. It's like mini games. So one day we'll look and he's playing this harmless little game where you look after a pet or something. The next day he's running around a secret lab, and there are figures that are there to imitate, like Slenderman, for example, chasing him around, and things that pop up on the screen and scare the life out of him. And it's these kind of games that worry me as like a person that will in several years have like children of my own. It scares me, because you can't possibly police these games, because it is like marketed as a child's game, the game itself, the platform itself, but it's these little ones that have no rating and that are just open for anybody to join. There's been several news stories on this, actually. I think it was about maybe a year and a half ago, there was a massive scandal regarding Roblox, whereby children could be easily targeted, because it's not only got the features of playing the game, it's also kind of got an open chat room the whole way through the game. So it'll pop up in the corner and people can talk to each other within those games. And some of the things people were saying to these children, because it doesn't tell you how old people are. So it's, targeted at children. So it's going to be to children what you're saying. There's going to be more children than adults that can read it. And some of the things were vastly inappropriate. And alongside this, there were games whereby the child would just be playing, and then all of a sudden recordings, like sexual recordings, would come on really, really loudly on the screen, and you wouldn't be expecting it, and the child would kind of freak out and be like, what's going on? Same thing with swear words, same thing with like scenes from films, like the audio from quite gruesome film scenes would be played and things like that, and memes, pictures, jump scares, the more adult ones popping up just on the screen, just intermittently, very, very fast. So the child wouldn't be expecting it, the parent wouldn't be expecting it, it would just happen. And I think it's disgusting. I think the idea of people being able to sort of create content and get paid for their content when it's used and when it's played on is really good, because people have the kind of dream and the they want to create video games, but they just don't have the facilities, and this game does offer you those facilities for free, essentially, to make a game for people to enjoy, and if people enjoy it, you get profit, and it's kind of a win-win. And the platform itself is free, so anybody can access it. You don't need to pay, and that's why it's such a hit for kids as well, because the parents are like, okay, we don't have to buy this for you, and you go ahead and do this. But then the abuse and things that go on this platform is phenomenal, and since it's also hidden and you can't keep track of it, there's really nothing anybody can do about it. The same kind of thing as the whole Momo scandal not too long ago, when the children's version of the YouTube platform where that would pop up. It's the same thing. It can't be policed. I think all they've done since that's happened in regards to Roblox, since the whole sexual things and the violence and all sorts, the only thing they've done is set up a thing where you can see on your profile if you are above or below 13, and then games would get recommended to you like that. Also, when people would swear in the chat or say something inappropriate, it would star it out. But that's not going to get rid of the problem at all. There are ways around it. It's been seen. I've watched my brother play. We've had to ban him from the chat because it's just you don't know what people are going to say. You don't know what they're going to come out with. Anyone can add you as a friend, anyone could follow you, so you don't even need to accept it if you're being followed, you're just being followed. So like on Twitter, you can't request to follow people there, you just follow people, and that will happen. So people, if they're getting bullied, the person that's bullying them, if they're following them, can literally jump from minigame to minigame with them, and it wouldn't leave them alone. And you give access to, your username on the game. That way anybody can have that piece of information about you and find your actual account on your console or anything like that. And then children, because they're children, they're way more likely to just accept friend requests off these strangers than a normal adult who knows the consequences of that action would. Because we know it might not be who you think it is, but they don't. And like I said, it's an impossible thing to police, an impossible thing that me and my family have found, to just, you have to sit there and stare at the screen and stare at what he's doing constantly to make sure nothing dodgy comes up, because it's so out of his control. He thinks he's just going to do something innocent and just play with his friends, or go and do this and build this tower or whatever, or blow up this man. And it's not him that controls what's on there. It's not the site that controls what's on there. It's the creators of the site, like the public creators that control what goes into their games. And I feel like that should be policed. Their games should go through like a kind of verification process to make sure that they're okay for children before they go live, instead of, at the moment, the fact that they do just go live. It is a brilliant game. It's lovely. The majority of it is perfectly fine. It's just the odd 15-25% of pure weirdos that will go on there to ruin it for everybody else. And it's a motive that I just really don't understand. I don't know why people would want to scare kids that they don't even know. They wouldn't even have any connection with them. I really don't get it. I think it's absolutely abominable behaviour, and I think there should be more things in the gaming industry, most definitely, to kind of clamp down on what is not inappropriate and appropriate for children, because it is mainly a child-targeted audience nowadays. Now children that are younger and younger are getting like better and better game consoles with more and more access due to improvements on Wi-Fi and like data and stuff like that. There needs to be like a firmer kind of set of guidelines in place for kids' safety, for child safety, because it's disgusting and it's not fair on the child that just at the end of the day wants to sit down and play their new game. That's all they want to do. They don't want to get targeted by some really strange weirdo on the internet, because quite frankly, nobody does. So that's just my thoughts on this issue. I think it's something that should be really talked about more, and I'm glad I got to on this weird little podcast thing. So I hope if anybody listened that they enjoyed it. and thank you very much.